welcome to another deep dive. You know we love to dig into listener submissions, and this one is particularly fascinating.
Absolutely.
We're going back in time to explore some ancient Hindu narratives.
Oh, very cool.
From the Brahma Purana, to be exact.
Okay.
And focusing on two specific spots along the Godavari River.
Okay.
So get ready for gods and sages and some truly incredible transformations.
Sounds good.
It's amazing how these stories, they're so steeped in mythology.
Right.
But they also offer these insights into the human condition that still resonate with us today.
Absolutely.
Like take the story of Jashu Tirtha,
okay.
which is often called like the hunger pilgrimage. And we meet this sage, Kanva, who's, wandering around totally famished.
Okay.
He comes across another sage Gautam who's clearly doing pretty well for himself,
Yeah.
abundant food, comfortable surroundings.
Right, right.
But Kanva, even though he's starving,
yeah.
refuses to ask for help.
That's where things get interesting. Instead of swallowing his pride and, just asking for some food,
Yeah.
he chooses to go to the banks of the Godavari River.
Okay.
And what does he do?
What does he do?
He starts praising both the river goddess Ganga and the goddess of hunger, Kshuta.
It does seem a little counterintuitive.
It seems paradoxical, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Appealing to abundance and scarcity at the same time.
Yeah. But Kanva's got a plan.
Yeah, he does.
He cleverly asks Ganga for blessings
Okay.
and then turns to Kshuta with a request for a curse.
Wow.
He wants anyone who recites his hymn at that spot to be freed from hunger.
That's a pretty fascinating solution.
It is.
So he takes his own personal struggle with hunger
Right.
and tries to transform it into a potential blessing for others.
Yeah.
And according to the Brahma Purana, it works.
That's awesome.
That place on the Godavari becomes known as Kanva Tirtha, Ganga Tirtha,
Wow.
and Kshuta Tirtha.
Triple whammy.
A triple whammy of sacredness. So you go there, pay your respects, recite the hymn, and boom, no more hunger.
Okay, I gotta admit, I kind of love Kanva's ingenuity here.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, how do you think this story reflects the ancient Hindu worldview?
Okay.
Was it common to find these kinds of practical solutions woven into these spiritual narratives?
That's a great question. I think it speaks to the interconnectedness of the spiritual and the material in Hindu thought. It's not about denying those earthly needs, but finding ways to navigate them with resourcefulness, and in this case, a little divine intervention. And the Godavari River itself, which is a sacred river in Hinduism,
Of course.
plays a crucial role.
Yeah.
Kanva doesn't just wander anywhere.
Yeah.
He goes to a place that is already imbued with this spiritual significance.
That's a really good point. So the Godavari isn't just a backdrop.
Right.
It's almost like an active participant in the story.
Yes.
Which makes me think about the other tale we're exploring,
Okay.
the story of Ahalya Sangam Tirtha.
Yes.
The confluence of Ahalya. This one dives into some pretty complex themes. Creation, jealousy, betrayal, and ultimately transformation.
Okay.
And it all starts with Brahma, the creator god,
Yes.
crafting Ahalya, a woman of exceptional beauty.
Yes.
But then he realizes he needs to find someone worthy to raise and protect her.
Right.
And guess who he chooses?
Let me guess.
Gautam?
Gautam.
Of course.
Our resourceful friend Gautam.
Yes. It seems that Brahma recognizes certain qualities in Gautam.
Yeah.
We've already seen his cleverness in the previous story.
Right.
And here again, he has to prove his worthiness through a rather unusual test.
Yeah, what is it?
To win Ahalya's hand in marriage.
Okay.
He has to race all the other gods around the world.
And of course, Gautam, being Gautam, finds a way to outsmart them all.
Exactly. He circles a cow giving birth and a Shivalinga.
Oh, what?
Shivalinga, it's a symbol of Shiva,
Got it.
claiming that each circuit represents a full circle around the earth.
Oh.
2 earthly circuits done.
Clever.
It's a clever workaround,
Well,
what do you say? Definitely.
But this victory triggers a whole chain of events, doesn't it?
It does.
Enter Indra, the king of the gods,
Okay.
who is completely smitten with Ahalya
Yeah,
and now burning with jealousy.
Uh-oh.
He decides to take matters into his own hands,
Oh.
disguising himself as Gautam to trick Ahalya.
This sets the stage for a very dramatic exploration of deception and its consequences.
It does.
Indra's actions, driven by lust and jealousy, lead to a cascade of curses,
Yes.
with far-reaching implications for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Gautam discovers the deception,
Uh-huh.
and is understandably furious.
Right.
He curses Ahalya, transforming her into a dry riverbed.
Oh, wow.
And poor Indra.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say his punishment involves 1,000 yonic symbols appearing all over his body.
Now, before we delve further into the consequences of Indra's actions,
Okay.
I think it's important to clarify the meaning of yonic symbols. In ancient Hindu iconography, the yoni represents the female creative power. It's often associated with the goddess Shakti.
Okay.
However, in this specific context, the curse implies humiliation and a loss of divine masculinity.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying that.
Sure.
I think it's important to provide context for our listener.
Yeah.
Especially when dealing with ancient symbols that might not be familiar to everyone.
Absolutely.
But getting back to the story, Ahalya doesn't just accept her fate passively, does she?
No, she does not.
She defends herself, arguing that she was tricked by Indra's disguise.
Right.
I mean, if she genuinely believed it was her husband, can we really blame her?
This is where the story takes on another layer of complexity.
Yeah.
Ahalya's defense, even within a patriarchal society where a wife's fidelity was paramount, raises questions about accountability and the nuances of deception.
Right.
It forces us to consider whether Gautam's anger, while understandable, is truly justified. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a powerful moment, isn't it? Even in this ancient text, you see a woman challenging the assumptions and expectations of her time.
Yeah, and it has an impact, right?
It does.
Gautam, consumed by rage, at first eventually realizes the validity of Ahalya's claim.
Right.
He recognizes his own flawed judgment and seeks to mitigate the harshness of his curse.
Okay.
He can't fully undo the transformation.
Right.
But he offers Ahalya this glimmer of hope.
Okay.
He tells her that when she encounters the Godavari River, she will regain her human form.
Interesting.
It's as if the river once again becomes this source of purification and renewal.
Indeed. The Godavari, a sacred river in Hinduism, holds this deep symbolic significance.
Yeah.
It represents purity, this life-giving force, and the potential for spiritual cleansing. In this context, it becomes the vehicle for Ahalya's redemption, washing away the remnants of the curse and restoring her to her original form.
And that's not all right.
Right.
Indra's curse also undergoes a rather unexpected transformation. Those yonic symbols that were meant to humiliate him, they become 1,000 eyes.
Wow.
Earning him the name Sahasraksha.
Okay.
The 1,000-eyed one.
Oh, wow.
It almost feels like a kind of cosmic irony.
Absolutely. The curse, initially intended to diminish Indra, ends up bestowing upon him this heightened awareness, this multifaceted vision. It's almost as if his transgression, born of lust and deception, ironically leads to this expanded perception of the world.
So both Ahalya and Indra experience these profound transformations each in their own way.
They do.
It makes you wonder, is the Brahma Purana suggesting that even the most serious transgressions can be opportunities for growth and change?
It's a fascinating question to consider. These stories, while rooted in ancient contexts, grapple with these universal themes of desire, consequence, and the possibility of redemption. They seem to suggest that even when we stumble, even when we make choices that lead to suffering, there's still potential for transformation and a return to wholeness.
I'm struck by how these seemingly simple tales pack such a philosophical punch.
Me too.
We've got clever sages, jealous gods, defying curses, and a sacred river that seems to have a mind of its own.
That's right.
It's like a cosmic soap opera with deep philosophical undertones.
You hit the nail on the head. These narratives engage on multiple levels. They entertain, they intrigue, and they invite us to ponder larger questions about human nature, the nature of the divine, and our place in the grand scheme of things.
It makes me think about something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
This idea that the stories resonate even today.
Yes.
What do you think makes them so relevant to a modern audience? Is it the timeless nature of the themes?
I think so.
Or something else?
Well, think about the challenges we face today, you know, the struggle with our desires, the complexities of relationships, the yearning for meaning and purpose in a world that often feels very chaotic. These are themes that transcend time and culture.
Right.
And that's where these ancient stories can offer us a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
They provide a framework for understanding the human condition.
Okay.
Not just in ancient India, but across time and cultures.
It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves, isn't it? Seeing our own struggles and aspirations reflected in these characters who lived thousands of years ago.
Right.
We're reminded that we're not alone in our search for meaning.
Yeah.
in our triumphs and our failures.
Exactly. And by engaging with these stories, by wrestling with their complexities and interpretations,
Yeah.
we enrich our own understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Right.
It's a conversation that spans centuries,
Uh-huh.
connecting us to the wisdom and insights of those who came before us.
Okay, let's pause here for a moment and consider everything we've discussed so far.
Okay.
We've explored 2 captivating stories from the Brahma Purana,
Yes.
each offering unique insights into the interplay of human choices and divine intervention.
Yeah.
We've delved into themes of cleverness,
Uh-huh.
pride, jealousy, deception, transformation,
Yes.
and ultimately the possibility of redemption.
These are not just stories, they're invitations to explore deeper truths about ourselves and the world we inhabit.
Right.
They challenge us to consider our own motivations, our responses to challenges, and our capacity for growth and change.
What are some of the key takeaways that have resonated with you personally?
Okay.
What aspects of these stories do you find most compelling?
Well, one thing that stands out for me is the emphasis on resourcefulness.
Okay.
Both Kanva and Gautam demonstrate this remarkable ingenuity in finding solutions to seemingly insurmountable challenges.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, we have the potential to think creatively, to tap into our inner strength, and find a way forward.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's not about having all the answers, but about being willing to think outside the box, to seek solutions that might not be immediately obvious.
Yeah.
It's about embracing challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. And let's not forget those profound transformations that occur throughout these narratives.
Yeah.
Both Ahalya and Indra, through their transgressions and subsequent experiences, they undergo this metamorphosis that fundamentally alters their understanding of themselves and the world.
Yes. The theme of transformation is really central to these stories, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
It's not just about outward change,
Right.
but a much deeper inner shift
Yeah.
in perspective and awareness.
Yeah.
Ahalya's journey from, cursed riverbed back to human form is a powerful metaphor for redemption and renewal.
Right. It's like she's given this second chance, an opportunity to kind of shed the weight of the past and step back into her own power.
Exactly.
And Indra, initially driven by lust and jealousy, ends up with 1,000 eyes.
Wow.
A symbol of expanded vision and heightened perception.
It's almost as if his punishment becomes this catalyst for greater understanding, for a more nuanced and multifaceted view of the world.
Yeah.
It begs the question, can even our missteps lead to this unexpected growth and enlightenment?
It's a really interesting question to ponder, isn't it?
It is.
I'm also struck by the role of the Godavari River in both of these stories.
Yes.
It's not just a geographical feature.
Right.
It's this potent symbol of purification, transformation, and divine presence.
Absolutely. The Godavari is revered as a sacred river in Hinduism,
Of course.
believed to possess the power to cleanse and renew. In these narratives, it becomes an active force, this conduit for both punishment and redemption.
Kanva seeks solace and solutions on its banks.
Right.
And Ahalya's transformation is intricately linked to her encounter with the river's waters. It's like the Godavari itself embodies this idea of divine intervention.
Yes.
This subtle but powerful force that shapes the destinies of both humans and gods.
And it reminds us of the interconnectedness of all things, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
How even these seemingly ordinary elements of the natural world can be imbued with this profound spiritual significance.
Exactly. And it makes me think, as we wrap up this deep dive, what other hidden depths and connections might we uncover? If we look at the world through this lens, this awareness of the sacred woven into the everyday.
It's a beautiful invitation, isn't it?
It is.
To approach our lives with a sense of curiosity and wonder.
Yeah.
To seek out that deeper meaning and interconnectedness that might be hidden in plain sight.
I have a feeling you, dear listener, might be contemplating some of these ideas yourself.
I hope so.
What aspects of these stories have resonated with you most strongly?
Yeah.
What questions or insights have emerged as you've listened to this deep dive?
Remember, these narratives are meant to be explored, debated, and reinterpreted.
For sure.
They are not static texts, but these living traditions that evolve with each generation.
So, as you continue on your own journey of discovery,
we
invite you to ponder this final thought.
Okay.
How do these ancient tales from the Brahma Purana speak to your own understanding of the human condition? What universal truths, if any, do they reveal about ourselves and our place in the grand tapestry of existence?
Keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into that boundless ocean of knowledge.
Yes.
There are countless treasures waiting to be discovered.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.